podcast. I'm your host, Eric. This is your host, Randy.
Hello.
Today, we're going to talk about some things. Yeah. We're going to talk
things
about
and stuff, man.
Yeah,
things and stuff. I like things and stuff.
Things and stuff. Windows 11.
I kind of want to almost call this like the personal episode.
The personal episode? Where we talk about general whatever?
Yeah, dude. We just vibe with it, right?
Yeah. I'm all about vibing, dude. Like 100%. Like that's kind of what this podcast is about, dude.
Yeah.
Just your boys hanging out, chatting. You know what I'm saying? I just figured to talk about Windows 11. There's been a lot of reviews and stuff. So we talk about that. I wanted to talk about the October 18th Apple event predictions because, like,
okay,
I'm super hyped about that personally. And
sure
then
you are.
We'll talk about some other stuff after that. Let's start with Windows 11, dude. What do you think of that?
Sure. So those of you have, I am on it. It was pushed to me, and I have the option to opt out. But dude, who would opt out, dude?
I wouldn't opt
in.
Out. I mean, I don't know. So let me ask you this, dude. Like, because you said it came to you. Is it like
did come to me, dude?
Is it like for upgrades? Is it like random chance?
So like, yeah, dude. It's essentially like the Hunger Games, or so it seems.
Okay.
So basically, every time you do Windows Update now, or anytime Windows 10 will check for an update, the first thing it'll do is it'll tell you with either a big red X, and no one likes a red X, that your computer is not compatible for Windows 11. And that's probably because you don't have FTPM enabled in your BIOS. If you have X570 motherboard, and I'm not sure how far back it goes on Intel, maybe X490?
Okay.
Maybe?
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to look that up on the Intel side. But anyway,
I did see it was like a compatibility
if you have
thing,
a X570 board or newer, I know the processors at least, right? So if you have an 8700K or newer on Intel, you're probably okay. And then you'll get a red X that basically says that you don't have that FTPM compatible computer. But most of the time that could be enabled in BIOS, right? Like as a virtual TPM. So I had to go and do that again because, as you know, I had a few issues with Windows 11 previously, and I had to reset my BIOS, so that was no longer enabled.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and enabled it, and then when I restarted my computer, I basically had a green check mark that says, "Congratulations, your computer is ready for Windows 11."
Okay.
And then there was like some fluff text under it, and don't quote me 100% on it, but it essentially said, Windows 11 will be pushed to you when we're ready to give it to you.
Okay, yeah.
So it was kind of like a random roulette wheel, I assume. And like there's a few articles on it online if you check the web later on, or if you get curious.
Okay.
You can either wait for it to get pushed to you, or you can just go to Microsoft's site and download the Windows 11 upgrade tool, and then you can get it whenever you want.
Okay, yeah.
But if you wait through the Windows upgrade, like a Windows Update device manager thing on your computer, that seems to be like the Hunger Games. So like no one knows when you'll get it. But if your computer checks all the boxes, they consider it a special snowflake, they'll push Windows 11 to you.
Yeah.
So I got it. And I downloaded it because, opt in, dude, but anyway,
of course.
I like the aesthetic of it. You and I are kind of mixed on rounded corners. I like rounded corners.
I like it.
Because they're the future, dude.
Like, I'm not against rounded corners, dude. Like, I like rounded corners. I just, like Linus said, like, I think he was reviewing a recent Surface laptop or something. They had rounded hardware corners. And he was like, I don't like this. And I agree.
Yeah, but he's weird. He's weird. I like it a lot, dude. I like it a lot, dude.
I don't know.
I like it a lot. We need to hold off on rounded corners because it's going to come down to my October 18th predictions. Okay. That being said, your iPad has rounded corners.
Okay, yeah.
Your iPhone has rounded corners. Your aesthetic Mac OS has rounded corners.
Yeah, but here's
this is like
not all content I have is really designed for rounded corners.
Your Tesla has rounded corners.
Yeah, but they're all devices that are designed around the fact that everything on it has rounded corners. Like a PC hasn't ever had rounded corners until now.
Yet. Dude.
Well, I'm saying like if they do,
dude. There was a time when a PC didn't have a color screen, dude. Now we're just in an area where we don't have square monitors anymore, dude. Don't be a square, dude.
No,
I learned that on the Brady Bunch, dude. I don't want to be a square, dude.
Okay, I'm super hyped for the aesthetic of it. Like I think it looks so good. And I think the reason I say that is because I love Mac OS, and it kind of reminds me of Mac OS.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's got like a bubbly UI. It's got like when they showed like the notification thing and it was like this nice little rounded edged box thing, I was like, yeah, that's kind of like how Mac does it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it just kind of felt cozy. I actually liked the center dock just from aesthetics. I don't know if it'll actually be as I don't know if it'll be.
I actually want to talk about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You need to, whenever you get Windows 11, and who's ever listening, whenever they get Windows 11, even if you want to keep the dock in the center and don't want to move it back to the left, switch it anyway, because the animation of like all of your icons scuttling to the left,
I did see that,
and then scuttling back to the middle is super nice.
Yeah, I saw
that.
So
like just give yourself the pleasure of just moving your icons around from left to center, because it looks so nice.
That was like a cool attention to detail thing.
It is like, a very cool attention to detail. There's also no option to put the taskbar on the left, which is still kind of sad for me.
Yeah, because you always snapped it to the side. Yeah,
I did, because we have more horizontal real estate, right? So like my vertical real estate is valuable.
I know what you mean. This is why I hide the dock, but there's a lot of cons with it.
There is,
and part of it is because whenever you get an app that's kind of wanting your attention, it pulls the dock up.
It does,
and that happens all the time. And it's like, get out of my way, dock. Like if you use DaVinci Resolve, for example, there's buttons at the very bottom, and like the bottom right corner of the little cog wheel, and you want to click it, but the taskbar says, hey, click my Steam notification off. You know what I mean? Like,
it's hyper frustrating.
Yeah, it is. But I still do it because I, since I have an OLED display, I feel like it's better.
You know who solved that really well?
Who?
Mac OS.
Oh yeah, because their hiding dock situation is pretty good.
Yeah. So for example, I'm also a left-aligned boy on Mac OS. That's predominantly where I started it.
Yeah.
Because especially on a laptop, like real estate is even more precious, right?
Yeah.
And then I kind of just adopted it to Windows because I got used to moving my mouse to the left to go to the dock, so I kind of like that uniformity. But Mac OS, if something like bounces to get your attention, it'll only bounce if you have the dock up.
Okay, yeah.
Which is really nice. So, like, if you mouse over to the dock, it'll come out, and then you'll say, oh, look, Steam wants my attention. It won't be like, I'm here I am, over your content, address me first. Like it does in Windows and DaVinci Resolve. It's a really good example.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know too much about it, and I don't know if you do, but apparently AMD is having a lot of performance deficits on Windows 11. I've just read headlines. I didn't get too deep into the weeds on that. I read the same thing,
that there was, with the recent update, there was performance degradation on AMD.
Right.
That sucks, dude.
It does suck, dude.
It's really going to be early adopter pains, isn't it? This is why I'm not upgrading yet, personally. There's obviously there's a part of me that wants to upgrade. I know when when Windows 8 came out, 8.1, I got those like the day of. Windows 10 got it the day of, and like this is the first time I'm like, I'm waiting. But like I really want to get it, but it's just like the early adopter pains. I don't want to deal with them. And it's also a thing where my computer's kind of been like, it's been many years since I've redone it. And I have a lot of stuff on it that's kind of
rediddled it.
Yeah, and
so
it's like kind of set to where I like it, and like it really kind of would be a real pain to redo it.
So I do want to tell you that as someone who just had to redo their computer because of the Windows 11 beta, and as someone who recently is a DaVinci Resolve convert because of you,
yes,
I have 2 games installed. 2 games. I still have World of Warcraft installed from when we played it because just add-ons and stuff, right? And I have a 2 terabyte NVMe, so why not?
Yeah.
And I have New World installed. That's it. That's the only thing installed on my computer.
Right.
In terms of games. Now, in terms of everything else, I have Discord, which is meaningless, but I have Resolve, Photoshop, Lightroom Classic, or not Lightroom Classic, normal Lightroom, because I edit photos with Capture One on my computer.
Right.
But you need Lightroom Desktop to sync your presets to your mobile device.
Oh, interesting.
So I use Lightroom on like my iPad and my iPhone if I'm on the go and I want to edit like a phone photo.
Yeah.
But I have to load them into Lightroom on my computer, and then they sync with my mobile devices, which is sweet, but that's the only reason why I essentially have it installed. Photoshop, Resolve, Element, TeamSpeak, smaller apps, Spotify.
Yeah.
I have over 1 terabyte used just from DaVinci Resolve, making proxies, making optimized media, like literally, like I've done maybe 3 projects on here, and I have a volume 0, which is where which is in root directory of C, where Resolve stores their proxies, and that thing is 878 gigabytes of just proxy media.
Wow. Well, to be fair, dude, the media you're making's pretty big and long.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
thick.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like
so the
optimized
shit has to be like big, also. Yeah. So
I also had that one mishap where I accidentally was rendering something in 8K output. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It was like, dude, why is this so big? You're like,
oh my god,
in
that was
an 8K
hilarious.
timeline.
Yeah, that was nutty.
But yeah, so just coming around full circle to Windows 11. Even more so than the beta, I do want to say that this is probably the most coherent from a design language I've seen Windows since Windows Never.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I'm just thinking back, like Vista wasn't consistent, 7 wasn't consistent, 8 wasn't consistent, 10 wasn't consistent, maybe 3.1. Like this is the most consistent I've seen it ever.
Yeah.
Even TeamSpeak has rounded corners. Even Zoom has rounded corners. Every menu is now the new menu. Actually, let me see what control panel looks like. It's actually usually an old boy. So control panel still looks like the old control panel that we know and love, but it has rounded corners.
Okay.
So
I mean, at least it's just like I'm not opposed to you leaving stuff in. Just modernize it, make it look nice, dude.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of us old guard, have been fucking around with Windows since, the olden days, 3.1 XP and Windows 98. And it's just like, why do you leave this old stuff in? You know what I mean? That's been around since XP and stuff. So
I still remember when XP was cracked. Do you remember that back in the day before it launched and everyone was downloading it? And that CD key started with FCKGW. I'll never forget that CD key. Oh my God,
I can't believe you remember that.
I'll never forget that. Dude. I'll never forget that.
Dude, that's great.
But yeah, to your point, as someone who's used Windows forever, it's nice to really see consistency in their operating system. And,
100%. It looks so good.
They're going to have growing pains, right? They're obviously going to have growing pains. But I will say that...
it almost makes me not want to use Mac OS, but it, not
That's
quite.
a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah,
I would use Mac OS in a heartbeat.
From a aesthetic perspective, it kind of gives me good vibes like Mac OS does. But obviously, I still prefer Mac OS. And Mac OS has been, what's funny? I was thinking about this today, watching a Windows 11 review. If Apple came up with a new OS, I'd get it the day I could. You know what I mean? But this time, I'm I gotta wait because Microsoft doesn't really nail it when they come out with new OSs. Not like you know what I mean? Like it takes a little bit.
And it's funny because I have a few friends who are diehard Android, right? Diehard Android, and whenever an iOS 15 beta comes out, I'll say, I just installed the new beta. And they'll ask, why would you do that, dude? Why'd you install the beta? And I'm like, dude, because an iOS beta is like an Android final release.
Yeah, I know. That's totally true. That's what's nutty. So they whenever without hesitation, I'll upgrade a version of Mac OS. But the Windows 11 release, it looks like you could do it. But you're gonna have a couple growing pains, and I think I'll wait a little bit, especially with hearing about AMD performance loss. I'm kind of shocked, considering this was their opportunity to really optimize for the multi-core experience that AMD offers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. I think that if you look at market share throughout the entirety of computers that use Windows, not just the ones in the past 2 years, I think Intel probably still has a commanding lead.
Yeah, 100%. It's just I think it's slowly changing, but it's still there, right? They had such a market dominance that we're not fully transitioned to AMD when even their modern stuff, even laptops, all the way up, down the range, really, laptops, desktops, all the way up to Epic. I still feel like...
this kind of brings up a good topic I wanted to cover.
Sure.
How long do you think it'll be, with this changing of the guard from Intel to AMD and this push for multi-core over single-core performance pretty much everywhere, right? Now we have games pretty pretty often, like more so than not, utilizing 6+ cores. You know, we have all of these
Right.
like DaVinci Resolve and stuff, utilizing not only video encoding on the graphics card, but also simultaneous rendering with your CPU. How long do you think before we see ARM become the de facto processor on Windows PCs? And like for like your mainstream computer, how long do you think before, you know, this x86 architecture and like out of order programming kind of goes the way of the West?
Yeah.
Because like Apple proved that it's here and it's gonna be better.
Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. Like, you know, I don't want to go on a rant here. I was doing it this morning, actually. You know, the M1 devices, right? Like, they just are completely unbelievably good. From, you know, performance per watt standpoint, they're just unbelievably good. And I don't think Microsoft, Intel, AMD, I don't think any of these players can ignore it. It's just so good. And especially on mobile platforms. Think about it, right? Most people buy, like, if they're going to buy a machine, most normies buy laptops. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if the best laptop on the market is a MacBook Air or something like that, like, you don't even have competition.
No.
Like,
no.
There's really, I was watching, you watch Dave 2D on YouTube. And I remember, like, he's a big laptop reviewer. And he was like, you know, every time I review a laptop now, I have to compare it to, you know, there's this MacBook that's right here. That's such a great option. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't need Windows and you don't game, like there's really no reason not to get a MacBook. And like a MacBook Air especially. It's such a great value.
I also wanted to just throw it out there that like if people don't watch J2D, he's probably one of the least biased guys I know on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he uses everything, right? Like, he buys everything, and he doesn't really trash anything, right? He'll point out the pros and cons. I think that he's 100% correct, though. Like, he's definitely non-biased. It's a fact. These Macs are so good. Performance per watt is so good. Like, whether or not your software runs on it, that's a whole nother story, right? A lot of people don't go into the Mac ecosystem because they just can't run what they want to run on it. And
I have a friend, actually. I'll get into that in a second, actually. What I wanted to mention was we just had a conversation yesterday, right, where I said I had to edit 3 videos for work.
Yeah.
And I edited them on my M1 Mac, and it didn't even cross my mind to bring my Mac charger because I knew that it would edit, render, and process all of those 3 videos, and I would never have to worry about the battery dying. Yeah. So I literally went to work knowing I would have to edit and publish 3 videos, and I didn't even think to bring a charger. I would never edit 1 video on a Windows laptop without bringing my charger.
No, dude.
Never.
I was thinking about that. Like, it's just even like battery life wise, I was thinking about that, like using the Fold. You know what I mean? So I'm like using it just to read. And like a manga, right? No processing happening, just screen blasting me with like whatever the brightness is. And it was like dead. You know what I mean? I was like, God dang it. I had to plug it in. If it was an iPad, it wouldn't have been that case.
No.
You know what I mean? It would have just like, you wouldn't even felt it. Like with Apple devices, Apple Mobile now, it's like you don't even, battery is not a concern anymore.
In my opinion, it's almost like Apple is just competing against themselves at this point, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Like if you're okay with the like Apple operating system like iOS or Mac OS, nothing that the other side offers is like even a draw.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like it's not like maybe you can make the argument for like the dual screen laptops. You know, like
those are neat, but like even still, like why? No, I don't think that's worth it, right?
I think that's kind of the same argument of the Fold, right? Like those are neat, but
but it's just like they come with drawbacks. They come with, and like even the Fold, you know, I've been telling you a lot lately that the Fold isn't always the optimal device for me to use, even though it's it's like maybe one of the best phone experiences you can get. But why would I want to be doing like stuff on my phone all the time when I could use my MacBook or when I could use like my desktop or I could watch something on TV? You know what I mean? Like my OLED big.
I give him till Christmas.
No, dude, no.
I give him till Christmas.
You know what? The reason I won't get the iPhone is because they're out of stock, even if I wanted one.
I'll give him till Christmas.
No, I'm not doing it.
Christmas.
Soonest I could get it is like November 11th if I ordered it right now. So don't ask me how I know that.
I'll give him till Christmas, dude. What's gonna happen is he's gonna be reading manga on the shitter, and then his phone's gonna die, dude, and it'll be December, and he'll check in that Virginia Beach Apple store that has everything in stock.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be like, pick up today, and then I'm gonna get a picture.
Stock. They didn't have one that was like 512 or bigger, and I want to shoot ProRes for the shits and giggles. So,
did you see the ProRes comparisons? By the way, they're pretty huge. They're pretty massive, dude. They're pretty giant.
Wow.
I went with the 256. Just because I feel like if I shoot anything longer in ProRes, I'll probably have my R5 with me.
But 256 can shoot ProRes though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Only the 128 can't shoot ProRes.
Okay, so maybe I get the 256 thing because I think they had something in stock. But no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, dude. I don't need ProRes though. I just, I want to be able to play with my phone.
It's the same argument that I told my coworker, right? I said like, I like what ProRes is, right? And I'm probably going to use it just to test it out. But in all actuality, I have an R5 that shoots 8K RAW. So like, I'm not going to take it to a place where it's like, all right, I'm going to film this video and use my iPhone in ProRes. It's not going to happen.
I know. It's not.
It'll be nice to have in my pocket. And it's one of those things that's like, I don't want to pay for a device and be locked out of a feature. So even if I'm not going to use it, I don't want to pay for a device and be locked out of a feature. Yeah. So I got the 256 for two reasons. One, because it was in stock, and two, because I don't want to be locked out of a feature. I wanted the 256 though, to be clear. Like that 100%. Was the size I wanted, because so you figure out if it uses.
Sometimes if you shoot a lot of video, like it'll eat up space. So it's kind of nice to have the extra storage headroom. Not have to worry about it.
Yeah. So for example, let's say that I have 200 gigs usable, right? Divided by 6. So on the 256 gig phone, assuming you have 200 gigs free, which is about what people have on iPhones.
Yeah.
You can shoot 33 minutes of ProRes. That's plenty.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's fine. It's whatever. You're not going to shoot, like, you're probably not going to be doing that much anyway. You're going to have your main camera if you did want to shoot that kind of commitment level video. But it's kind of neat to play with. I want to mess with
Exactly. So
I want to see what ProRes is all about, Let's see it.
To play around with it, I'll send you a video offline of someone who did a comparison. And he even says in the video, like, if you can't tell the difference between these two files, then ProRes isn't for you. But you'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
You'll be able to tell.
Well, I will, 100%. I'm going to look at the dynamic range. I'm going to look at the colors.
Yeah.
It's going to be easy.
That being said, and since this is kind of like our free-for-all podcast, and we kind of brushed on the topic, what do you think of MKBHD using the 13 Pro over the Pro Max? He's been a, quote, big phone boy for like 10-plus years.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
He's probably realizing what we're realizing, that the phone isn't the optimal device to use. Like, he's probably like, let's use the iPad more, the MacBook, let's use my main rig. Like, the phone isn't, like, when he could use his iPad or some similar device, like, why use the phone?
Yeah. He kept the 13 Pro.
Did he?
Yep.
Yeah. That's actually super interesting because, he's always been big phone guy.
He's always said, I'm a big phone guy.
That's fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how you see so many YouTubers going for the mini or like, weird device. Like, you wouldn't expect it. And
it makes sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
This is going to sound weird, but as someone who's had the Max iPhone since the Max iPhone came out.
Yeah.
So like I had the 10 obviously, which is kind of what the Pro is,
that size,
the original iPhone 10, iPhone X, whatever you want to call it. And then ever since the XS Max came out and all those bigger sizes, I've always had the big boy. And this Pro is just, it's nice.
Yeah.
It fits in my hand. I can one-hand it easily. I don't know if you could see, but my finger kind of locks under the camera lens right there.
Yeah.
It's a good size, dude. It's a great size.
Right.
And now when I pick up Kelly's 12 Pro Max, I feel like it's weird. I feel like it's obtuse.
Right.
And I'm sure I would get used to it again, right? But like, this phone is always deep in my pocket. It never falls out. Like my 12 Pro Max, like I wear like gym shorts a lot. Like they're kind of like sweat shorts or like gym shorts.
I do the same thing.
Shorts are. Like, I can't tell you how many times I would sit down and my 12 Pro Max would fall out of my pants.
Yeah.
That never happens with the Pro.
Yeah.
You know,
I've had that when I sit in my car, my phone will like squeak out and then fall on the floor or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, good thing it's in my right pocket and not my left. It
became second nature for me that, like, whenever I would get out of my car, to just put my hand in my pocket to hold my phone.
Same.
You don't have to do that with the normal Pro.
Yeah, because it's actually in your pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
yeah, that's nutty. That's nutty. But yeah, I think it's the right size, dude.
You know, to quote the Mandalorian, I think the 6.1 is the way. I think this is the way.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm very happy with the size. For me, the size is almost like a novelty at this point.
I would almost get the mini. I would almost get it, but because I can't get high refresh, the cameras, I can't get the pro-ness features. I'm going with the Pro if I get it, not the Max.
So here's where I'm at with that too. You know, again, having a little free for all conversation. When you pick up the Mini, it's one of those devices that's so cool because the size almost makes it novel. The size makes it almost like impossible. Like there's like this like really extreme of technology on sizes.
Yeah.
That like middle sizes look kind of normal and what you would expect, but if you take a piece of technology and it's smaller than what you would expect, or if it's larger than what you would expect, it just looks cool.
No, 100%, dude. Like I'm susceptible to this, dude. When the netbooks first came out and they were like little tiny Windows laptops, I was like, that's awesome. They sucked, but they were awesome. And then like when the iPad mini first was announced, I got one of those because it was freaking awesome.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm somebody that's totally into that. So
and then you have the inverse too. Like if you've ever had like a 12.9 big boy iPad,
they're cool,
and you use it without a case, and you just leave it on your coffee table with the screen on, and then walk away, and then you see like this large sheet of glass displaying information on it. It just looks impressive, you know. Whereas like the normal size, like the 9.7 to 11-inch iPad doesn't really have that feel, even though it's the same thing. It's just the size is unexpected. So the size in of itself is a novelty based like from the device alone. So where I think the Mini would fall short for me, outside of those caveats, is I still occasionally play a game on my phone and I still occasionally watch YouTube on my phone. I think that the Mini would probably fall short for me there, especially in the gaming section.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine playing Magic the Gathering Arena on a Mini. I couldn't. It
would be, so that's where probably that happy medium with the Pro.
The Pro is,
Yeah. That's probably the one like I think that I would get the Mini, I would love it, but then like I would experience that where I want to play like Magic the Gathering and then be like, oh God, this isn't nearly what I want. Yeah. And then I'd get the step up and I'd be like, yeah, I should have known that was the right size. Because when I had the iPhone 10, it was like perfect. And then it
really was.
It was.
Yeah,
and then
really
you know, I was like, oh, I want to go with the Max, you know. So when I get the 12 Pro Max or the 11 Pro Max or whatever, I was like, okay, this is huge. Like it no longer was as easy in the hand, right? And I was like, okay, cool, big screen, but it was just like you were losing something that really wasn't quantifiable, which was like usability. And it's like big screen is a lot easier to, you know, quantify than that. So yeah, I see it, dude. It looks good. It looks
No,
clean.
I wanted to get your opinion on this, though, because this is now a state of controversy.
Oh, what's the controversy, dude?
What is your opinion on Apple's consistently changing space gray, graphite?
I mean, obviously that sucks, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's annoying. Like, I hate that because I want to have matching devices, right?
Right.
Like, who doesn't? So that's kind of really annoying. But, like, it is what it is because...
I mean, there's kind of a big deal this year with the Apple Watches. You're probably out of the loop on it a little bit, right?
Yeah, so I haven't been... Oh, actually, no. You're going to talk about how if you buy a base model Apple Watch, you can't get a neutral tone.
Yeah, there's no neutral color.
Yeah,
there's Midnight, which replaced Space Gray.
They're close, but not
kind of has a bluish hue to it. Then there's Starlight, which I personally think looks nice.
It does
because I'm a Warm 2 boy, so it kind of looks like that they applied the Warm 2 preset to Starlight.
Yeah, 100%.
But or to Silver, but I can see why people wouldn't want that.
No, 100%.
I get it. But at the same time, you know,
yeah, I know.
I do like it.
No, I like it too. I think that like it does suck that, you know, there's no true neutral. You know, that, you know, I get it because you want to, like you were saying, you bought like a colored Apple Watch and then you can only match it with so much.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I definitely went with the uh, stainless steel Apple Watch this time though.
Yeah, I would have told. I mean, the only reason I do is because I have to have that sapphire crystal. You know.
Yeah. So apparently the crystal is stronger this year too.
Okay.
But I went with the stainless steel for the sapphire crystal because I spent, I don't know what it was, like $389 for on my Series 0 to have the Link bracelet.
Okay.
The stainless steel Link bracelet that I could never wear again because I'm OCD and it doesn't really match perfectly with the aluminum. So I want to be able to use those nicer, dressier bands with my Apple Watch. And plus, I wanted the stronger glass because I did have some scratches on my Blue Boy last year when I had it.
You know, speaking of watches, dude, like, so I'm still obviously using the Galaxy Watch. What is
it's good,
3?
Right? It's good.
Yeah, it has
four,
a couple.
Four.
Sorry. So a couple things that I don't like compared to the Apple Watch. One of them is
hold up. Before we compare it to the Apple Watch, it's better leaps and bounds than the Galaxy Watch 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. It's good watch, right? It's a good watch.
Yeah, like if you're in the Samsung ecosystem and you need a watch,
Samsung Pay has worked every time.
You won't feel like, man, this was a waste of money. No. It actually feels like a coherent product for once.
If you're an Android user, it's the watch to get. You know what I mean?
Sure,
I think that Linus would actually be maybe satisfied with this one.
Yeah.
This instead of, because he's been an Apple Watch guy in spite of being an Android guy. Just because there hasn't been good options. This one, I feel like it's a good option. I don't know if Linus will agree. It definitely does have drawbacks. Like like for example, whenever I put the watch on, one of the cool things about the Apple Watch is if you unlock your phone, it unlocks the watch, right? So you don't have to put your PIN in.
That's really nice.
Like
That's really nice.
take my watch off all the time. So I work.
I just want to say too.
Yeah.
That since COVID, the inverse now works too, which is fantastic.
Yeah, you can unlock stuff with your watch, right? Like if you, if you're wearing your watch, it's been unlocked. You go to unlock your phone, it'll unlock it if you're wearing a mask. So yeah, I've had that and I've loved that too. But yeah, like that's one thing. I take my watch off a lot for work because I can't wear it in certain spaces, and every time I put it back on, I got to unlock it, and it's just like I don't like that, right? But other than that, it's been pretty good. I've had to reboot it a couple times. I've had some weirdness where it just like stops working. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like a software bug. They've been putting out patches though, so they probably squashing a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I look forward to seeing when you get your Apple Watch, dude. I want to get your impressions. That bezel looks pretty tiny, so
yeah.
So screen looks good, dude.
I just want to point out too that the small Apple Watch, because of the bezel reduction, like the, I guess you can call it the female version. I don't know if it's like the small wrist version. What is
it's the one that my wife's gonna get.
Right. It's the one that Kelly has. It's the one my mom has.
Yeah.
That's now 41 millimeters, which is 1 millimeter less than the original large boy was, because the original large boy was 42 millimeters. So it's kind of crazy, right?
It's kind of like how today's smartphones, because they have like no bezels, they're like way bigger screens, even for the same footprint. It's kind of like that. But
no, it is. It really is. It really is.
It's awesome.
For me, I feel naked without a watch on. So like this wait period sucks.
Yeah, 100%.
Just so everyone's clear, like I literally woke up at 7:30. I set an alarm at 8 a.m. And to my knowledge, the only variants that they had for, release date delivery of tomorrow was Midnight and Starlight, and all the other ones, some were like end of October. But I placed my order at 8:01 and my delivery was November 1st to November 8th. Right. So I literally got on and placed my order. I will say that their Apple Watch ordering is kind of jank.
Is it?
Like I kind of wish I could just order the watch face without having to order a band.
Right.
So you have to go through like 3 default stainless steel options. Even if it's a band you already have or want, you have to buy it anyway.
I hate that. I do wish you could just buy it without a band or save money, because I already have I have some of the $100 like these braided ones. Yeah. Right? So like why would I want to like buy your band when I already have like some really nice ones? Especially if you're doing watch upgrades, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And like it bothers me because like I don't know if I ordered the stainless steel with a different band variant, if I would have had
Yeah.
an earlier ship date. I have no idea. How would I know that? Am I supposed to sit there at launch and go through every option and see which one
Yeah.
ships fastest?
I
No,
know.
I'm
That
not
I
going
wish
to do
yeah,
that.
exactly.
You know?
Well, yeah, I get it. Like that's me trying to figure out which ones are available in the Apple store near me. You know what I mean? Like I'm like
yeah.
going through. I'm like, okay, which ones are available?
Well, now I don't know the last time you've checked, which was probably today. But if you go to the Apple store, because I'm flirting with the idea of trading in my 11 for a mini, because it's pretty much like a straight up trade, right?
Yeah.
Because the 11 is worth more money, obviously.
Yeah.
Now if you go through the ordering process and like go to buy, so like obviously. First off, let's call a spade. Apple, what the hell is a 64 gigabyte iPad doing in 2021? What is that?
I don't know.
What is that? There's a reason why it's in stock, because
Nobody
one's
wants
buying it. No one wants that.
You know what? No.
So-
You know what? I think you're wrong, though. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I think that there are some people that use iPads for specific purposes, and they don't use it for anything else. Like there's some people that use iPads, they buy the cheapest one though. They wouldn't buy the mini.
I feel your vibe.
It as like a teleprompter, right?
I feel your vibe.
Yeah.
Because I did that for work actually. I bought a iPad Air.
Yeah. But those are the cheapest
for
ones,
work.
right?
Well, I could have got the 329 iPad, but
okay, yeah.
I just wanted the Air for two reasons. One, because we're going to use it for purposes other than teleprompter.
Yeah, 100%. But like that's basically the only reason. If you wanted that size for a specific purpose and you didn't care about storage, that's the only reason to get 64. It's almost like they got all these like 64 gig chips like just sitting there and they're like shit.
Well,
dude,
like that's my point, right? Like what is the cost difference for the part between a 64 gig NVMe and a 128?
I mean, it's got to be cheap
at the volume
they're
buying. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So, like no one's gonna look at this base iPad that is. Let me see. The 64 gig Wi-Fi is $499.
Should I show that link? What's up?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But like, see how it has the similar models available now. So it kind of does that for you.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, hey, this is what you want, but this is what we have in stock.
Yeah.
And it'll show you in the 12 nearest stores as well. So it kind of takes that, like, oh, let me see what's in stock at my local Apple store out of the equation, which I thought was pretty nice.
Okay, yeah.
So back to my rant. Like, if the iPad Mini started at $549 instead of $499, and it was base 128, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I agree. 128 would make a lot of sense. I mean, I know some people are saying the Mini's a little expensive for what you get. I don't know. I think even at its price point, people will buy it. There's a cheap one for people that want that entry level boy.
Yeah.
Some people want this size and they'll pay for it. You know what I mean? Like I personally want it. I don't want to get it because of the no promotion. That's the one reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised that you're considering trading in and losing what you got because you have the M1 iPad, right? So
I do.
You're going to lose that. I mean, I get the power isn't really utilized, but like
that's kind of what I wanted to touch on too. Like that's an iPad problem, then, right?
It is.
Like neither you nor I are really concerned about losing the M1 and the iPad.
No, it's just because they're not utilizing that performance. Now, it might be that in a couple years' time, when they, put Mac OS on the iPad, they can do it. You know what I'm saying? But right now that performance is underutilized. I can't think of any software on the. I mean, maybe
the only thing I could think of would be if you use LumaFusion.
Yeah,
yep, that's exactly what I was going with.
That's
LumaFusion.
the only reason.
Actually, what's really exciting and what is probably going to make me keep the 11 is Capture One is coming out with an iPad app.
Oh my god, dude! About time, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
So
how
hyped
awesome
for that.
is that? Yeah,
yeah. I'm really curious if they'll require the Capture One subscription to do like photo sync or anything like Adobe does. You know what I mean? I'm really curious because like I would like to be able to find a way to be on the road, edit my photos on the iPad. Like that's the problem, dude. I just got done talking to you about this. The iPad display is so much better than what's on my MacBook Pro.
Well,
it's so much better.
It is so much better.
It's so much better. Color gambit, everything, dude.
So, reading an article on Petapixel really quick, it says Capture One is coming to iPad in early 2022.
Yeah.
Capture One, which recently announced an update for native support on Apple M1 computers, has announced that it's currently developing an iPad app, citing that development for Mac OS and iPad OS is basically the same. It's just a matter of re-engineering the user experience for touch.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, perfect, right? So they're already developing for ARM, right? Because they have the M1 native version. For the
right, right. Also,
MacBook.
So glad that Capture One and Resolve both have native M1 apps.
Yeah, it's great. This is really amazing that people are making ARM versions of big software like that, right?
Yeah,
it's huge. And this is where you talked about like what's the prediction that we get like on our desktops ARM competition, and I think it's coming, dude. I think within the next 5 years, though, I think it's going to be slow.
I'll be straight with you as someone who's used Resolve on M1 and Resolve on my desktop. And for those who don't know, my desktop is a 3900 XT with a 3090 all underwater. So when I edit the timeline and I view the video and I watch the playback, if you found a way to connect them both to the same screen at the same time, you wouldn't know which one was the M1 and which one was the desktop. Wow. The only time the desktop will absolutely destroy the M1 is when I'm exporting a video. Yeah, when 100%. I'm rendering when I'm encoding a video. Yeah. My desktop is probably about 3 to 3.5 times faster at exporting than my M1.
Yeah.
But for actual usability, like for actual timeline editing, color grading, all of that stuff, I can't tell a difference. I can't.
Yeah, 100%. No, I mean that's really the power of ARM and their how good the M1 is. And I think this is a great time to really roll into October 18th. The Apple event, the predictions, because we all know and are very excited. I know personally, I'm unbelievably excited about what's coming, because we've saw what Apple can do with Apple Silicon in the M1. They've put the M1 in the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, the Mac Mini, the iMac, the iPads. They have the M1 in like everything,
everywhere, dude.
And it's so good everywhere, dude. It's so good everywhere.
You know what the M1 is like, dude?
What?
Skyrim.
Yeah, dude, it's on everything, dude. And rightfully, but the thing is, we actually love this, though.
Yeah.
It's like we've already
played Skyrim
too.
Yeah,
I like Skyrim too, but it's like after you've seen Skyrim so many times, dude, like
do you think the iPhone 14 is gonna have an M1?
Dude, oh my god, that'd be so fucking funny, dude. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could, but it's really funny. The M1 is really, really good. And
so good.
It's so good. I think that we're going to see whether they call it, whatever they want to call it, right? M2, M1X. I think it'll be more M2 if I had to guess. This is just gut feeling. I have no idea.
I have a question for you, actually, and it's kind of like a common question.
Yeah.
What is it with M and things? Like, why is it always M? You have the M1 processor, the M2 processor. Then BMW has the M1, the old M1. Now they have the M2, the M3, the M4, the M5, the M6.
I don't know. I figured it was just
TaylorMade makes golf clubs. They have the M2 and the M4 and the M3.
What is it with M? Is M like the cool letter? I didn't know.
If someone out there knows what the correlation is with M and performance, that would be awesome.
I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to think of like some like I don't get it. Mega, maximum, like what is it?
Yeah,
dude? I figured with the MacBooks it was like mobile or something. But like I have no idea if it stands for anything or what. It's just the cool letter. But yeah, I mean, I'm really, really excited to see what the chip does. And I think like we talked about this earlier, the performance in whatever they put out, the event's called Unleashed. What does that tell you?
Dude, it's going to be nuts.
They're unleashing it, dude. The M1 was fantastic, but it had some limitations. It had limited GPU cores, limited CPU cores. I think it used like the big little thing.
It does use big little. It's also limited to 2 Thunderbolt ports.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So, I/O limitations, right?
Yeah, it does have I/O limitations.
So, exactly. So what are they going to come out with? Obviously, the new MacBook Pros, right? So are we getting, because like, okay, the 16 needs replaced. What are we getting? Are we getting another 16, a 15, a 14?
I think we're getting
know.
a 14 and a 16.
Okay.
With some Super Retina XDR display because we now have XDR phones.
That's it.
We have XDR iPads.
Yeah.
And the last Pro device that doesn't have an XDR display is the MacBook.
Yeah. I think you're right.
I think that is like a 10 of 10 guarantee.
I hope.
Because every Pro device on the market right now has an XDR display. Every single one. Every one.
I know, and I really think it's overdue. You know, I've been using my MacBook Pro. Its display is not bad. It is not bad, but it isn't gorgeous. Okay.
I'm in the camp that the MacBook is the last device I would want 120 hertz on.
I think you're. You know, it's hard to argue because I want it. But I want battery life too.
Don't get me wrong, but I would rather. Well, here's the thing. Okay, what if they put their LPTO technology into the MacBook so it can go down to 10 hertz?
That's what I want to see, because I want more battery, but I also want the ability to ramp up and go like 90 hertz or something.
See, for me, I don't really game on my MacBook that much.
I want to.
I want to, obviously, too, but like I know it's not a reality, right?
Not
like
right
I
now.
know it's not going to be a reality right now. It may not even be a reality ever, just because, you know, the amount of Mac machines in people's hands will always be less than the amount of Windows machines in people's hands. And that's just because you can build Windows machines, you can create your own, you can upgrade parts in the Windows desktop. You just don't have that flexibility in Mac for it to be a mainstream product. Like as much as I love Apple and I love Apple products and I love my MacBook, you're never going to see a Mac master race that is gaming focused.
Not gaming focused, no. There's a lot of reasons for that, but you're right. But I think that there's still a group of people out there like me that have these devices that love them, and through sheer force of will find a way to get their games to run on it. And
yeah, you could probably do that through like Wine or something.
People do. Crossover and stuff, right?
I have a friend who was interested in getting a MacBook because he's a big Apple fan.
Yeah.
You probably know him, Pots and Pans.
Yeah, 100%.
And he wanted to, and we were talking a little bit because like he has a GTX 970, like a 4770K or a 3770K.
Right.
So he's like due for an upgrade, right? But he was waiting to see what these M1Xs are because he basically plays WoW and Magic the Gathering Arena and all.
That stuff will work, right? Yeah,
that stuff will work fine, you know. But I had to caution him because he was under the impression that Rosetta 2 would translate any x86 application. Not just Mac OS x86 applications. So I had to break the bad news to him that, hey man, Diablo 2 Resurrected isn't going to run on that Mac.
Yeah.
Hey man, New World isn't going to run on that Mac at all. True. Period. Like, and then now he's kind of rethinking it. So he's trying to grab a 3060 Ti, but it sucks. It's basically what I'm getting.
This is actually cool because we both played New World on our Macs, but we did it.
Oh yeah, we did
through streaming, right?
We did, yeah.
Were you using Steam? I was using Steam.
I used Steam.
It was awesome. I thought it was actually really good. I was shocked. At my office at work. And I was like, man, this is great. You know?
So I used it at Kelly's house. And
so you're streaming from your house to Kelly's house then.
Right.
Nice.
And I literally logged in New World. And I was like, oh, man. I'm just going to log in and gather because that's probably all I'm going to be able to do.
Yes.
And I started playing. I was like, no, I'm going to quest. This is fine. Yeah. This is great.
It's good.
Like sometimes there's like a quality decrease.
Yeah,
but it lasts for maybe like 2 seconds. But like there's never like a really terrible moment, or at least that I didn't experience. I mean, my testing is limited, but at least that I didn't experience of like terrible input latency.
Right.
I didn't notice that at all. Like it's there, but it wasn't enough that was like, I can't play this.
I know. I was honestly like, this is great. Like around your house, it's going to be fantastic if you're on your own Wi-Fi. And then if you happen to be at somewhere else, like I was at work at the office and I felt like just getting on and chopping some trees. And it was so good that I was like, I don't even worry about like.
Speaking of, you still playing New World, dude?
I am, but I've just been busy. Mm-hmm. You know how I have this weekend, I'm doing this big stream event tournament. And, I have this studio.
You're about to get more busy because you're going to be teaching me Blender.
I'm so excited if you want to learn Blender, dude. I'm unbelievably excited. Blender, and this is another reason to circle back to the Mac. I want in the new Mac some sort of beefier GPU setup. And it's really because of things like Blender. Maybe if I can get GPU rendering on like DaVinci Resolve.
Let me ask you a question really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think if at this event, since we're talking about predictions, do you think that M1 will always be an SoC? Or do you think we will see a separate ARM-based GPU in a MacBook?
You know, this is really, really interesting because it would be un-Apple to do that.
It would.
They've always done it where they lump everything together, and there's a lot of good reasons to do that. Of course, there's good reasons not to do that. They could put dedicated graphics chips in these laptops, but I don't know if they'll want to do that. I don't think that they'll want to compromise what they've made here, right? Which is like this amazing, like honestly, the M1 is really graphically capable, believe it or not.
It's crazy.
It's impressive.
Guys, if you haven't tried it, if you're thinking like, oh, I've used Intel integrated graphics on my Surface Pro before, it is nothing like that.
It is like another world of integrated graphics, dude. This is actually good.
I have a Surface Book 3 that's my work assigned laptop that has a 1650 Ti in it and a 8th gen Intel processor, and the M1 runs graphics.
So good.
Graphically intensive programs better than my laptop with a dedicated graphics card in it.
I was telling you, when I was playing WoW on this thing, I was like shocked how great it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was playing at medium settings, but dude, I was playing on battery for like 4 hours straight. Like, it's so good.
It's
like,
so good.
I can't do that. Like every Windows laptop I've had, if I was using a dedicated GPU, even when I had the 16-inch MacBook Pro with the AMD whatever Radeon whatever was in it, right? Like if I was playing WoW, battery'd be gone, dude.
Can we talk about something else too? Because I feel like it goes unnoticed because you and I are spoiled now.
Yeah.
But how funny is it to use a laptop that isn't an M1 and then hear fan noise?
Oh my god! Like it's we're definitely spoiled, dude. You know, it was absolutely insane, dude. I was doing a render.
It's crazy.
I was doing the Blender render on this.
Oh, you're
thing.
a Blender render.
Yeah, I was doing a Blender render, dude.
Blender
and like
render.
anything else, dude. Like over here, right next to me, my server computer, my main computer. As soon as I hit render, dude, and then like they're pushing heat out, dude. It was hot in here, both of those machines. And I had my Mac across the room. It was also rendering, and like granted, it's like, you know, it's TDP and everything's way lower. It's not using, but like, dude, it was, the fans were on, but like I had to pay attention to hear them, dude. And it was like ripping this computer.
And like,
you know,
I mean, to your point, man, when I rendered those 3 videos at work, I didn't have any fans. And like,
isn't that nuts? Absolutely nuts.
I almost had a chuckle to myself because I was literally working on my MacBook and my work Surface Book was idle next to me, and I heard the fans ramp up. I'm like, I'm not even touching it. I'm not even touching it.
So stupid.
And like I'm here literally rendering a 4K video on my M1 MacBook.
Yeah, people don't get it, dude.
It makes no sense.
People give me so much shit because I'm like such a you know, they like almost an Apple fanboy, but it's like the little things, dude.
You know
like
what?
they designed something that doesn't do that shit. Gone. What is it?
I said I am too. Fuck that fold. I'm glad it's gone.
Dude, I'm telling you, like people give me so much shit because you know, I'm a big fan of these products, but like, dude, they earn it. They earn my respect.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like no other product does that.
Apple logo on the back, dude, that's a feature.
That's a feature, dude. Respect it. And I do respect it, you know. I mean, I acknowledge that some people it's not for, but like I really, if you don't want a game, like these devices are so good.
I actually did something today.
Yeah.
I helped my friend order his very first iPhone.
Oh, wow. Very first. So what did he come from? What your friend come from?
He came from a Galaxy S10.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So this is going to be an interesting...
he's had Android his entire life.
Wow.
He's friends with one of my boys who used to work for Verizon, who's a big Google Android fanboy. Like he has Pixel since the start.
Yeah.
And he always kind of followed suit. You know, He's always had Samsung phones and stuff, and like he's had the same problems with Android, but like he kind of just stuck with it.
Right.
And essentially, you know, now he's in a position where he's unlike us, right? Like he's not a techie, he's not into tech, he's not into anything. He just uses his phone like a normal person.
Right.
And he bought his S10 2 years ago because that's when it came out. Maybe about a week ago, he said he started complaining like, yo, my phone's slowing down. You know, the battery's not what it used to be. He goes, I just paid this off and now it's poop. You
Dang.
know? So
unbelievable.
So then we kind of have this discussion that's like, man, like maybe you should just get an iPhone. Like,
yes, 100%.
Like what you do on your phone. I said my coworker just traded in his iPhone 6, which is what, a 6-year-old phone now, to a 13.
Dude.
And the only reason he did that was because he dropped it.
Yeah. Wow.
And the other reason was iOS 15 was the last update he was getting.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't be able to join our MDM at work.
Yeah.
But that's regardless. But realistically, if we didn't have an MDM policy and he didn't drop it, that phone would still be okay.
Right.
But there was no performance issues on it, you know, like obviously like apps probably dropped out of RAM a bit faster, but like the phone worked. The phone was fine, you know.
You know, that brings up a great point, dude. People always shit on Apple like they're the expensive, like, oh, they're overpriced, dude. But they fucking last, dude.
Yeah.
They last, dude. My iPhone, 12 Pro Max sold for like $950, dude. Like, come on. If I took a year-old Android phone, I put it on the market, dude, it'd be like worth like way less, dude.
Yeah,
and
he's getting
last. You know?
He's getting $420 trade-in value on his S10.
Yeah,
that's like a year and 10 months old.
Yeah,
and I'm literally getting my mom a 13 Pro Max for Christmas.
Yeah,
and I'm trading in her XS, and that trades in for more than the S10 does.
Right.
And I get it.
And and this is the thing. Like, I know Louis Rossman would probably say, "Yo, they don't last, dude. Look at that flaws in these products, dude. It could happen to anybody." But like me personally, I haven't had issues with my Mac products and my Apple products, like my iPhones, iPads, MacBook. I haven't had any issues. Like, I don't know if you have, but I've never had issues really that I couldn't just go to the Apple store and they like do a 1-for-1 swap or something with me. No questions asked.
I have.
Was it like insignificant? Like, what happened? What was it?
So you probably remember this. I had butterfly keyboard issues. Remember
but everybody did with that.
Everyone did. Right. But like, I was still without a MacBook for 2.5 weeks. They took care of it, but I was still without a MacBook for 2.5 weeks. Yeah. That was kind of a mess in my opinion.
That was a huge mess.
That should have been addressed differently.
Yeah.
But that was basically
they can't. Apple makes mistakes sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. That was obviously a big one. And you know what's funny about Apple mistakes is like they get news. They only make like a small amount of products, really. And
I say all the time to Drew, my coworker, my boss, because he's a big Android boy, and like he recently brought up that like Apple's zero-click exploit. I think I told you about that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, 100%.
And like the only reason he knew about that was because it happened to an iPhone. If it happened to any other device,
no,
you would. It's almost like it's
right.
It's the Tesla effect, right? Like 100%. People want Tesla to fail.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, and unfortunately, the world we live in,
it gets clicks, it gets news.
I was gonna say, revenue is generated through attention span and clicks and how many views it gets and how long people look at an ad on the side of your screen when you're reading an article. And when you're in a world driven by that, you're incentivized to attack companies that are hot.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess that's the best way to put it, right?
That's all it is, dude.
Like you're incentivized to maybe not be the best journalist.
Yeah, it's a huge shame that happens, but I get it. That's the world we live in. So yeah, exactly. Like it's hard to explain that to people that see this negative press. I have to defend Tesla every now and then. Like they know, like at work, I'm a guy with a Tesla, so people like they hear Tesla news, they go, "Hey, did you hear about this Tesla that fucking crashed?"
It happens to me all the time. Yeah,
exactly.
I get those conversations all the time, and I also kind of hate like the positive attention I get with it. Like we do some training classes for like different things at our office to like help people like get like basically just like classroom stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like whenever we have students, like if I happen to walk into the room when the class is going, I'm like, oh, there's Randy. That's the guy with the Tesla I was talking to you about. It's like it's become who I'm known as.
I know, the guy with the Tesla.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want to be identified by my car. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's true. And it happens to me too. Like, you know, everyone's like, you know, when you get in the Cybertruck, you know, like everybody, you know, they know.
Yeah.
Tesla stock's doing good. They all come to me like, hey, you got Tesla stock, dude? And like, you know, it's stuff like that, you know. And I'm just like, dude, come on. But I get it, you know. It's easy to see me pulling in a Tesla and be like, that's the guy with a Tesla. But yeah, like the Apple products are the same way. You know, and that's the thing. You know, a lot of people are dogging on them. You know, I always felt like, you know what's nuts, dude? This pisses me off. Like, everyone hated on Apple for being the most expensive, but like, dude, look at the value in like the MacBook Air and like the iMac. Like,
look at the value in the MacBook Pro, the M1 MacBook Pro, dude. Yeah, right.
You want to buy something that's going to be shit like the moment you buy it? Like, oh my god, dude! Like, it just.
Can I tell
you
nuts. Something I never have with Apple products?
What's that?
And this is even a product I liked, and I still like it, and I would still recommend it to someone.
Yeah.
The MSI GS65 Stealth laptop I had. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
I liked it. But the build quality,
it was not good.
While it was metal, it was like sheet metal. Right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I could literally probably
feels like Iron Man built it in a cave. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
dude.
His first Mark 1. You know,
like I can push my fingernail in it and dent it. And like. I guess what I'm saying is, like, before I even turned it on, and like I said, it was a great product, but the second I unboxed it and took it out of the packaging, and I felt the build quality, I was like, I goofed.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I had immediate buyer's remorse based off of the build quality.
Yeah,
and you never have that with an Apple product.
Yeah, if you're listening, guys, if you're listening and you're you know, listening to us, and we're like, you know, think when we're like, you know, privileged and everything. I mean, that might be true, but the fact is, if you buy cheap, you buy twice, right? If you go out and you buy a MacBook Air today, it's going to be a quality laptop for like 5+ years. You know what I mean? And it's going to be better than new stuff coming out. You know what I mean? Like, by far. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's still going to be a quality product with like modern day, like M.2 storage speeds, fast ass, like the M1 is just fast, right? It's going to be fast, especially compared to Windows products for a long time. Guaranteed. So like, you know, to me, it's like, don't knock the quality, don't knock the, I guess the value, because it's there.
It is there.
But as far as predictions go, I hope you're right. I hope you're right regarding the October 18th event. I want to see a 14-inch with a better screen and beefier chip, and like that'll be enough to make me buy it. I'm telling you, that'll be enough.
I kind of want to cover this too, just because, you know, I kind of want to give equal coverage to sound less biased than we already do.
Go ahead.
I mean, this flew under my radar. Probably flew under your radar too.
100%. What's up?
I just want to add something really quickly on that topic of like people saying Apple is privileged.
Yeah, go ahead.
And like things of that nature. So like if I go to buy a new iPhone now, right, like an iPhone 13, okay,
right,
and I just buy an iPhone 13 in blue 128, guys, that's the same price as an S21.
Yeah, 100%.
That's literally $799.
Right. I mean, some people will be like, "Oh, well, you're getting so much more with the S21," and it really depends, dude.
And
it really
if you look at the 13 Pro Max, it starts $100 cheaper than the S21 Ultra.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why it's just so wrong nowadays. Like, Apple is competitive with their pricing, and their value in each product is there. So I feel like that's gone. Like, if you're somebody in 2021 that's arguing that Apple's expensive, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think that you have like a prejudice against Apple that has lasted for the past like 10 years. And you haven't given them a second chance. I see that all the time where, like, among my friend group, you know what I mean? where they just like don't even give Apple a look. And I feel like that's fine. You know, you can be that way. And like they might have reasons for that, like gaming, right? But I feel like the products are worth at least respecting and not talking shit about.
I agree.
You can't talk shit about an Apple user. You know what I mean? It might not be for you, but why are you talking shit? I think that's how I feel.
I just want to bring this up. Galaxy Unpacked 2 is October 20th.
Okay.
I kind of want to go over some predictions for that. You know, we kind of talked about the Apple event. I don't want to leave our Samsung boys in the water.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I like that's the thing. Like, I like all devices, dude.
Same.
100%. What's coming, dude?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
What I would say is we're going to see the Tab S8.
Okay, so new tablets.
Is that what tab we're on?
I'm excited for that because I think Samsung make the best Android tablets.
Tab S8, yeah. So I think we're going to see the Tab S8. I think we're probably going to see a new Galaxy Book.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we're going to see some competition with the Unleashed event, which is a good thing, right? Because Apple has a commanding lead, but I don't want them to have that.
Well, competition's good for everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly, right.
We want it.
Yeah.
And like honestly, Samsung's doing great with competition, dude. The Fold is really strong competition. I mean, it's very expensive competition, but it's strong competition. And then like their tablets that run Samsung Dex. Like imagine, dude. Imagine if Samsung Dex got so good that Apple couldn't ignore it anymore. They had to put like Mac OS on a tablet. You know what I mean?
So to your point on that, Samsung released an official statement 2 days ago that says the company has sold more foldables in the past month than the previous 2 years.
Wow. Is that like in a certain region or is that
But it didn't provide actual sales figures.
Okay. Wow. That's unbelievable. But
in the
foldables
US.
in
It
general,
says in the US.
Okay.
In the first month, Samsung sold more foldables in the US than the prior 2 years combined.
I think that's because of the Flip. I think the Flip is cheap enough.
I think it's two things. I think
the Fold's really good.
I think it's the Flip being $9.99.
Yeah.
And I think all of these reviewers, and to Samsung's credit, I mean, they built a brick shit house.
Yeah.
Like, they have waterproof foldable phones when other manufacturers can't even fold at all. Yeah. I mean, the Fold 3 being fully waterproof, still blows my mind. That still blows my mind. It still blows my mind.
I love that 100%. Yeah. It's so good. Like that was one of the biggest flaws, or I guess drawbacks with the 2, and even the 1. But like now it's just like flawless, nearly. You know what I mean? Like the Fold 3 is like a flawless device. Other than battery life, right? Like obviously you have the drawbacks of battery life, and I mitigate that by putting it on the wireless charger all the time. And it's not that big of a deal, but it's something that I have to think about. Like I'm so used to not thinking about batteries anymore with devices like this. You know what I'm saying?
I do stand corrected from my previous episode, though. I did some research.
Okay.
The Fold screens can only go down to 60 hertz.
What?
Yep.
What?
They can only do 60 or 120.
They can't go lower?
Mm-mm.
Wait, what?
Mm-mm. They can only do 60 or 120.
I thought they had like they could dip
I did
down.
too. I did too.
That's
but
stupid.
I purposefully looked it up because I was having battery life issues on my Fold.
Wow.
So I purposefully looked it up.
Dude, people are reporting differently though. Like they probably were wrong. Like if that's true, that's nutty.
Yeah.
Because that makes a lot of sense, you know. And like here's the thing, it's hard to do variable refresh rate like that, to dip that low without having some sort of image issues, right?
Yep.
Pixels, you have to refresh them. You know what I'm saying? So to get that image quality and stuff. So I get that. You can get like smearing and shit. I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of nutty. I remember when G-Sync was like in its infancy, and if it dipped too low, you could actually see it pulsing.
Well, I think screens still have like an optimal range, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably what they have to do. It's like you get a panel, and you might not be able to source one that could dip that low. I mean, this is Samsung's own displays, but it's like if you want to reach this image quality, like you might not be able to get everything in one display. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like it's funny kind of thinking back, dude, right? So like 2014, sometime in that time frame, was when I bought 3 BenQ XL 2720Ts.
Yeah.
And they were 144 hertz.
Okay.
And at the time, like, that was unheard of.
Yeah.
For a computer monitor. So, like, no television, no phone, no tablet. And now, fast forward to 2021, and, like, if it has 60 hertz, we don't want to touch it.
No, it's funny.
I
mean, the standards have changed, right? And I know you and I, we're both very display oriented. I think there's only really one group of displays on the market that really just kills it for me, and it's all the LG displays. All the LG displays,
100%.
HDMI 2.1, getting 4K 120, variable refresh rate, fucking OLED HDR 800 nits, I think, maybe 750
on the C10 or the C11.
C10, I think.
The C10 is between, again, panel variation, but if you measure it, it'll be between 750 and 800.
Yeah, okay, so right on there, target, which I think is a great range. I think it's good with a deep blacks. That's a good HDR experience. And like, to me, it's just like the ultimate panel, right now. And, whenever you have that panel, every other panel, it's like, oh man, it has to be good. To
your point, man, like, if I had my pick of panel, all costs equal.
Yeah.
Or my television, all costs equal.
Yeah.
I would probably get a Sony.
Well, it's because their image processing is so good.
But the panel's an LG panel.
It is.
So to your point, LG is pretty much the kingpin.
When it comes to TVs, large panels, like, they are winning. I'd say that they have the best panels on the market right now. When it comes to other devices, now you start to kind of, have a little bit of iffiness. As far as like laptop displays, different. iPad
I think
has
for
the
mobile
best
display,
tablet.
You're probably Samsung in the mobile space. I mean, Samsung makes the OLEDs for iPhone, which this iPhone screen, dude. Like, when you get yours,
when I get mine, dude, I can't do it.
I don't think you realize how bright this boy is.
I can't do it, dude. Is it bright?
Like
That's one thing. Like, I always felt like the Fold was pretty bright.
The full screen is bigger, so it perceptively is bright.
Yeah.
But if you take when you get your 13 Pro and you take it outside, and like in direct sunlight, like, that's gonna be one of the first things you do when you get it. You're like, oh man, this is like I'm inside in a dark room.
I gotta say, dude, like, I really want the iPhone, but I can't do it yet. The Fold is just so good. It's so good, dude.
It is great. It's
so good.
I even sent a message to my eBay buyer. I was like, listen, man, like, I really hate getting rid of this. Yeah. Like, it hurts to pack it up. It hurts. Because it's such a good device. It is. But I get it. But Tim Cook just has that BDSM chain around my neck, dude. Like,
he's got you. He's got you, dude, on a leash. I feel that too, man. Like, there's not a day goes by that I'm like, man, I want the iPhone. Because, like, there's issues I have. Like, I have AirTags, right? Let me tell you a story. I have AirTags. And if your AirTags...
Great product, by the way.
I love AirTags.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you finish this, can I ask if you're having this problem, and then you can tell me if it's not?
Sure.
Because I have this problem too. Do your AirTags randomly beep?
Yes. This is what I'm getting into.
Okay, because I thought I was fucking crazy.
No.
I'm like hearing this.
Okay, well. Let me tell you what they did.
I'm like, what is going on in my room, dude?
I did some research. Okay, so I have a couple of AirTags, right? I have one in my wallet, one in my bag, one in my son's backpack, and then like Amanda's got one, right? So I would like pick up my bag.
Wait. You track your wife with an AirTag?
No, I didn't say my wife.
Dude.
She has her own AirTags. Okay? I don't track my wife, dude. No, I don't. I deliberately don't do that.
Slip a little AirTag in the butthole,
dude. Oh shit, dude. No, but I'm telling you, if your AirTags don't communicate with your devices in 3 days, whenever you move them, they beep. That's what it is. So, what would happen is I sold my iPhone, right, which was connected to my AirTags, and now that my iPhone isn't being used all the time, it doesn't have anything to communicate with. So what I've had to do is every 3 days turn on my iPad and not just use it. I have to open the Find My app, and then it'll connect to my AirTags.
Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah, so I have to do that every 3 days, or
I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, what is that noise, dude? I think it's coming from my backpack. Did someone put a bomb in there? I had no idea what's going on.
They'll go into like automatically like in a lost mode if they don't talk within 3 days.
I will say though, I will say though, in true Apple fashion, as soon as I set up my iPhone, fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Didn't even have to repair them.
That's
didn't
great.
have to touch them.
Yeah.
Just immediately started working again as if
because they're
I
paired
never
with
left.
your Apple ID, right?
Yeah,
like your
as if I
account.
never left. As if I never left.
Yeah, exactly. It's that Apple polish, right? So like the AirTags are great, but that's the one reason like I wish I had the iPhone and then HomeKit obviously and stuff like that. But you know, other than that, like the Fold is freaking good. So I'm
It's good.
And plus, dude, I was thinking about it. I'm already wanting to get the new MacBook. I was like, dude, I can't get the iPhone, dude. I can't.
The MacBook, if anything, if you get the MacBook and don't listen to me,
okay.
It's gonna just make you get the
iPhone too.
The iPhone
also?
even more. Oh yeah, dude.
Damn, dude, you might be right. I don't want to.
You're gonna want that seamless personal hotspot. You're gonna want to embrace
man.
Timothy's giant bear hug.
No, I can't, dude. I can't do Tim Apple, dude. No,
dude. Tim
Not
Apple
with the phone.
is coming for you, dude.
The Fold is so good. I've grown accustomed to it. But yeah, it might be the case because, like we argued already, the Fold isn't the best device all the time to be using. I'd rather be using my new MacBook and then have the phone as just a phone and doing great phone things like camera and battery life and
the best phone things, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to the Apple event, though. I'm super hyped. The M1 MacBook Pro has been one of my favorite things.
It's definitely one of my favorite things for sure. I'm looking more forward to your new purchase.
Yeah. So, God damn it, dude. So I told Amanda about this for the listeners out there. My boy Randy here, he reaches out to me last night. I was eating dinner and he calls me. He calls me out of the blue. And like my boy doesn't call me very often. I'm going to answer.
It was important, dude.
He had a very important message. He's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, the Sony new lens, dude. 70 to 200 millimeter Mark II, boy. G Master coming out.
Mark II. Which is much needed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sony comes out with great camera bodies, and they didn't have the glass to back it up, both in resolution, resolving power, or focus speed.
Yeah. And I apologize for the listeners that aren't camera nerds like us, because you're about to lose us. We're about to lose you, dude.
I'll apologize in advance.
Yeah, because that happened. I have like a couple friends that are like, "Yo, when you start talking cameras," I was like, "I'm done." I was like, this is fine, dude.
I'll get real quick and like real 40,000 foot view.
It's okay, dude. Go ahead. This is our podcast.
Essentially, you have cameras now like the A1 that can shoot 30 frames a second. The A9 shoots 20. The A9 II shoots 20. The R5 shoots 15 mechanical, 20 electronic.
Yeah.
Cameras are fast. It's basically
Super
what
fast,
we're getting at. And when you deal with high-end glass, especially low aperture pro-grade glass, 2.8 or lower, the optical pieces are large. Like, they're big pieces of glass.
Boys.
They're thick boys, right? So you need to be able to move your focusing lenses back and forth to keep up with moving subjects,
right?
And if your least common denominator is the focusing motors in your lens, then you're not going to get those 30 FPS. You're not going to get that 20 FPS. You're not going to get that 15 FPS. And the 7200 G Master Mark I had that problem, where you were buying these obscene camera bodies where like the A1 basically shoots a movie when it takes photos, right?
Yeah,
like it basically shoots a movie.
100%.
You know what I mean? And then you put on what is probably the most commonly used lens in a photographer's kit. If you're doing photojournalism, weddings, portraiture, your 7200 is your go-to for events, for anything.
Yeah.
And you're only getting 14 frames per second, and it's not even really sharp, and it focus breathes at 200 millimeters. No. You're gonna feel like, man, this isn't getting the job done for me, and you're probably gonna look at Canon. You may look at the Z9 that Nikon's putting out, because at the end of the day, for a lot of people, unlike me and Eric, we would like to be there, but the camera is their moneymaker. It's their bread and butter. Yeah. So like if you release all these good camera bodies, but the lenses aren't there to complement it, to enable you to get the shot and to use the features, then it's useless.
Yeah, 100%. And that's like such an important focal length. It really is.
It's crazy, man. It's
the Mark I was not there.
Yeah, I would argue that if you're thinking about getting into photography, if you're thinking about maybe starting up, You'll probably have people who will tell you, a 24-70 is your standard zoom, and it is. But I think I would be more inclined to push people to get a 70-200 and a nifty 50.
Yeah.
I think that you would probably get more mileage out of a 70-200 and a nifty 50. A nifty 50 will be a 50 mil 1.8, and it'll really teach you how depth of field works pretty well. And then you'll have your 70-200 that's great for weddings, events, portraiture. It's such a jack of all trades lens.
Yeah.
That not owning a 70-200 currently is just preventing me from going out and doing what I want to do, and that's earn money with my camera, because I know I don't have a 70-200, and that lens is critically important. I was just at a wedding last week, and the guy literally shot the whole wedding and the reception with just that one lens.
Wow.
He did not use anything else, guys. Like that's how critical it is for a camera ecosystem to have a solid 70-200. And
what
up
was
until
on your
yesterday,
camera for that?
What was that?
What, for that wedding, what was on your camera? What lens?
On my camera?
Yeah. Do you have that 28 to fucking whatever?
No, I didn't. I actually had the 100 mm macro.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's because the 100 mm macro, like, just because the lens is marked macro, that's not all you have to do with it, right?
No, yeah.
So it's like macro is just an indication of close focus capabilities. So like you can use a 100 mm macro as just a 100 mm lens.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I did not bring the 20-70 because I needed that reach. I needed 70 mil. I needed more than 70 millimeters. So currently my only option was the 100 mm macro.
That's all you had.
Right. So, but yeah, the actual photographer who was there, he shot the entire soup to nuts reception, wedding, getting ready with a 70-200.
Yep.
That was it. The one and done lens.
Nice, dude.
So
I mean, that's great. I mean, like, do you think that's your next purchase, 70-200?
For camera equipment, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good.
It has to be.
I know that's what we want to do, right? Like, I think that if we started our little camera business, photography, studio sort of stuff, I want to do all of it, dude. I want to do product stuff. I want to do weddings. I do too. I want to do everything, production. Like, I think that we could do probably a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. It's hard to really build a portfolio and get customers, but I think that we could do it. You know what I mean?
I think we could do it too. I think it comes down to two things, and this is just us kind of spitballing again. It's our general chat podcast today. One, we'll obviously have to keep the price low in the beginning because
got to be competitive, and we need experience.
And we basically need to build our portfolio. So I think that we would have to go out there and say, hey, listen, we are coming in $1,000 cheaper than the competition, but you're also signing a waiver that we could use your photos in our portfolio.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people who are totally fine with that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that being said, I am incredibly excited for Eric's purchase.
Yeah.
Because as someone who was a previous Sony shooter, one of the reasons I jumped ship to Canon was because their 7200 was shit and their 24-70 was shit.
Yeah.
And 100%. I didn't want to invest in an ecosystem and rebuy a shit lens.
No, I get it. So makes sense.
So the 72-200 Mark II from Sony is god tier glass, and it's a good pickup.
I told I was talking to my coworker today, and we were talking about price, and I told her how much it was, and she was like, "Oh my god!" Like I had her guessing, and she was like, guess real low, and I was like, I was like, but and I was trying to explain to her, like, you really get what you pay for with camera, like gear specifically. Like there's diminishing returns with everything, but like this is going to be unbelievably good, and objectively, right?
You do get what you pay for, and I will say this for our listeners out there who aren't camera junkies like we are, because I know they exist. Yeah, all three of our listeners.
Exactly.
Camera lenses are an investment. Bodies
100%.
are the disposable part, and like I use disposable loosely, right? But like the lens in question that Eric purchased was just under $3,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's no secret.
That's gonna blow my friends' minds, dude. When I hear that.
Right. But you have to understand something, that lens is a 70-200 2.8 with dual linear focus motors, and it will always be that.
Yeah.
It will never not be that.
That's what I told him, man. I was like, this is like a 10-year lens, dude.
Yeah.
Like
that lens will always have its value.
100%.
It's not going to get replaced by higher megapixel sensors, by different ISO in your sensors, by faster shutter speed.
Exactly.
By higher...
It's already sharp when you throw like a 50 megapixel camera on it or more.
Right.
So
that's why camera lenses retain their value, because
Yeah.
a 72 200 2.8 is always going to be that.
Right.
It's never going to be less than what you purchased it as, and that's not true of other technologies.
Yeah, it's really an investment for me. I know that, like I was telling Amanda, I was like, this lens will last me for like 10 years plus.
Yeah,
Alex is going to
Yeah.
be growing up. Like I'm going to be,
When
if
he
he
does
gets into
sports,
sports,
yeah.
like I'm going to be able to do amazing sports photography with this thing. It's going to
Yeah,
be
plus-
unreal, dude. It's going to be unreal.
plus,
I'm going to be
it's
like
gonna
the
be crazy,
parent
yeah.
with the fucking badass camera. Like what the fuck?
You know who does that all the time?
Who does that?
And like I kind of think of like you,
Yeah.
because you have a child and I don't. Tony Northrup,
Oh yeah.
because his daughter plays sports, right? And of course, he has to a more extreme. He has the A1,
Yeah.
but he also has like the 400 millimeter f2.8 and the 600 millimeter f4.
Yeah.
So like he goes to like his daughter's soccer games with like
Yeah.
a Sony A1 and a 600 millimeter f4.
Yeah, dude, that's
You know
unreal.
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
want to use your gear, dude. Like
Yeah.
a lot of times, people go to their kids' soccer games and be like, maybe they're cheering, maybe they're bored, dude, because
Yeah.
it's like whatever,
Yeah.
kids playing soccer, dude.
I also want to add, man, that I also want to congratulate you because you have now one lens to get to complete the Trinity,
Oh yeah, the wide
and
one.
then you can buy the Fun Boys.
Yeah, the primes. Yeah, 100%. I need the Holy Trinity, and then I can get some primes, dude.
But those Fun Boys, dude.
Yeah, because I love primes so much.
Everyone does. Everyone loves primes.
I want to get all the primes. I was telling Amanda, I was like, look, this camera stuff, it's gonna last me. And like I know we want to start this business, dude. I was telling her, I was like, dude, if Randy had a wedding scheduled, like we could go to, I'd drive up there and like we'd fucking tag team this
Yeah,
wedding,
dude.
dude. Split the
tag team.
profits,
Tag team.
dude. We tag team it, dude.
Do it,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying?
But yeah, like that's exciting to me, right? So like
100%.
it kind of ties in the conversation you and I had before.
Mm.
Like I'm playing New World, but like I come home and it's like I kind of want to just stick around in DaVinci Resolve a little bit.
I know, dude.
You know,
that
like-
was me the past
like,
whole week.
Yeah, it's like I kind of
I'd love to show you some stuff. I don't know if this is the setting for it, but I created all this stuff in OBS for the stream. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I basically have this intro video. I know I showed you the video already.
the video's awesome. The video's
That I
awesome.
did for it, and like that was a lot of different skills that I used.
Maybe we should plug your tournament coming up. People are watching; they want to catch a tournament. Where
I
can
mean,
we find that at, and
Yeah,
when is
100%.
it?
So it's going to be this Saturday, probably at 2 p.m.
Okay.
I know that people are coming over. They'll probably come over around noon. We'll probably grill out, eat, kind of hang out for a bit. And then around 2 p.m., we're going to start a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl tournament. Friend
Brawl,
tournament.
dude.
It's no big, but I wanted an excuse to play with all my cool gear. And I was like, what if I hold a
perfect
tournament
opportunity.
and
Perfect
set up
opportunity.
like a little caster
Yeah,
booth?
dude. Like the Cell games, dude.
Like the Cell games did. And I was like, this will be awesome. So I set up I have like this intro video where like it zooms in to like a TV. I'll go ahead and play it, and I'll talk
dude, play
over
it, dude. Play it, dude. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So
Also, before you start it,
Yeah.
for those who are unfamiliar with like what this actually took in terms of compute to render, can you also go over how long this took?
oh yeah, 100%. So basically what you're looking at is like a little room, and I designed it in Blender, 3D animation and 3D modeling software and everything. It took probably in render hours, it was like 4 days.
That's human days.
yeah.
That's not like
4 days.
That's like a World of Warcraft day or a New World
Yeah.
day. That is 24-hour
Yeah.
time clock days.
I basically took how much it took per frame and then did the math. It was 950 frames, and like depending on what machine I was rendering it on, it took like 4 days. And what I did was I actually split it between 4 different machines. It was super cool. I had like my main computer, my server computer, my wife's computer, all doing GPU rendering, and then I had my MacBook, which was like taking like 30 minutes per frame instead of 7 minutes from a GPU. So, I mean, still pretty impressive for what it was. But yeah, so check this out. This is like my countdown, right? So check it out, dude. Like when the countdown is over, it'll go black like this, and then what the intro vid's gonna play right after that.
So how did you get this video in Blender?
So, okay, I actually made this video in DaVinci Resolve.
Okay.
And then I exported it and brought it into Blender.
Is there any sort of like copyright or anything for using all of these clips?
Well, I'm kind of
probably
looking at the fair use. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's kind of quick, right? So
how did you get that CRT effect? I like that.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm kind of talking over.
I don't think I can pause this. I wish I could. Actually, I can. So if I rewind a bit, like if you look, each of these is a pixel. It's really hard to see because I do a transition really quick when you're zooming in. The CRT display in Blender is made up of real pixels. So it's really hard to zoom in.
So explain to me, because I don't know. So I'm sure the audience doesn't know. When you say the CRT display in Blender.
Yes. So this is a 3D modeled. I'd love to pull it up. And it's really a shame for the listeners out there. I recommend you look at the YouTube video. I'm basically showing it for the podcast. But check it out. It's a TV, CRT TV I 3D modeled. And the display portion has a shader applied to it, which plays the video. But it also has a special shader filter that cuts up the video and into pixels, basically.
Okay.
So the shader is
basically an effect.
It is
shader. Okay.
But it's a custom one. So Blender has a very powerful, they'll call it a node-based editor, that you can add all these different layers of effects. And I basically found a YouTube video that was like how to make a CRT TV, and
that's awesome.
It was like take this RGB pixel and like apply it as a filter. And I was like, okay, awesome. And it just worked. And the coolest thing about this is it's using the cycle renderer, which is like a ray traced based rendering system. Okay. And so the light coming off of the TV, you can see it impacting the room realistically.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So literally each pixel is lighting the room realistically.
That's crazy.
Okay. Which is unreal, right?
My next question for you, because that's blowing my mind, but what's also blowing my mind is the perfectly designed GameCube.
Okay, so I will be honest. Some of these assets I did not make. So I downloaded a GameCube controller. You can see on the floor there.
And did you just pull these in?
Yeah, I just
is that how it works?
The plant I didn't make. I made the lamp. I made that.
Really?
I made that lamp real quick, real easy. I made this in the top of the screen. So, that light, I made that one.
So let me ask you a question. That lamp on the left.
Yeah.
How long in Blender did it take you to make that lamp?
Oh, that takes like 2 seconds, dude.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%. It's just like a cylinder that's been extruded a couple times, right? It takes like no time at all. The materials I didn't make either. Blender built into it, there's like this Blender material library that has a lot of free materials. And I would just keep testing different ones. And for the lamp, it uses a cloth material. Same with the couch. And there's some blankets, a chair. Those are all different materials. There's the wood floor, the brick. There's different wall textures with different paint. You can change them. And it's really impressive, the library built in. So you can create little scenes like this without having to make everything from scratch, which is fantastic. And that rug on the floor, that was another Blender tutorial. I was like, how do I make a shag rug or something? Something with kind of a long kind of... And it's actually using Blender's hair particle system, which is very impressive.
That's pretty cool.
So I love that. I made the chair, the desk. I made the wood chair and the cloth chair. Those are simple, to make furniture. I made this bookshelf on the right. And I made like the little TV stand. I didn't make the skateboard. The poster I made, but I didn't make the art on it, right?
So give us some information really quickly on Blender. Is this a freemium model? Can anyone go out and download Blender?
Okay.
Is there a paid version of Blender?
This is actually a fun thing for me to talk about, dude. I've been using Blender for so long.
I know. So and maybe you could educate the audience a little.
Yeah, 100%. So Blender's been around for I don't even know how long. It's been since I've been in like middle school, right? And I'm like 30 some years old. So like
Young Dread, dude.
Young Dread was using this. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pull up the Blender website, right? This is the blender.org. Okay. This is free software. Blender has been
so
free.
there's no like because like it's so there's no like DaVinci Resolve gotcha version where like it's like it's free unless you have an R5.
It is always free. It is fully free. It is free and open source. The Blender is paid for by the Blender Foundation, which it has a lot of very nice donators that donate to the cause. It's used by, you know, the actual film industry in some ways. Like there's obviously other software that's bigger, right? 3D Studio Max. There's some other ones like Houdini that does like an amazing particle system, but Blender has like amazing open source, you know, tools that people are using in the industry.
So kind of like how we talked about Resolve in the previous episode, and like what big productions use Resolve. Is there any that use Blender?
You know, this is a great question. I'm sure they have some on their website where they talk about it. I'm really curious as well. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Sure.
All I can tell you is like it's free to start, and it's super. I won't say easy, but it's easier than ever. Within the past even 3 to 5 years, the amount of content on YouTube alone for tutorials is just unbelievable, and they're super easy to follow. I'd imagine this is awesome. Like I just was like, how do I make a rug in Blender, right? And I literally just looked on YouTube. I was like, Blender rug, right? And within seconds, like I had multiple different rug tutorials.
Sure.
And there's so many tutorials like that for anything you'd want to make. There was some tutorials on how to simulate giant crowds of people. One of them was like how to simulate and generate like an entire forest. And it was like super impressive. It was on YouTube, and it was so much easier than I thought it would be. You make like one tree and then use the particle system, and it scatters that one tree around and then makes variants of that one tree. And then you can make that tree with and without leaves. And it's like, I was like, wow, that's super easy to procedurally make stuff.
That's really cool. So yeah. I just did a quick Google search, and Spider-Man 2004 was totally done in Blender. Like all of the stuff that needed CGI was done in Blender. And just because it's the most popular one, Pixar uses Maya.
Yeah,
Maya, however you pronounce it. But guys, Blender is free.
Yeah.
And it's always free, as we just learned.
Yeah.
Maya is $1,700 a year.
Yeah.
A year.
You know what's funny is you can actually purchase, I'm pretty sure it's a license, but you can get the same Pixar render engine to work within Blender. You just got to pay for it.
Really?
Yeah, so there's multiple different render engines. By default, there's only 2. There's Eevee and there's Cycles. Cycles is what you do the super hyper realistic stuff in. And Eevee kind of works like a game engine. So it's like super efficient, fast. But if you're trying to do the real deal and you want something realistic, you do Cycles. But you can also get third-party ones, which is awesome, right? You know, I'm just going to go through real quick for somebody that's interested in Blender.
Oh, dude. It's free, dude.
I mean, it is.
No. The
Pixar
Pixar render engine Blender plugin is free.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's called RenderMan, and you get it from rendermanwiki.pixar.com, and you just download it.
Yeah. It's just cool.
If you want to try it, I put it in there. There you go.
Oh yeah, there's sculpting tools. So you can actually do like, I don't know if you've ever heard of ZBrush, but that's the industry standard. And like they've been adding and improving their sculpting tools so much.
What was that sculpting tool that was popular in VR? Why is that escaping me?
Yeah, it was the one that Google made, I think.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called.
Let me see. Tilt brush,
dude.
That's it, dude. Tilt brush.
So check this out. This is when they were doing a animation and rigging, so you can do like full on character animation and, you know, all that cool shit. Grease pencil's a new thing where they're adding like 2D elements to Blender, which is kind of cool that you can do like this 2D 3D mix thing.
So like if you watch a YouTube video, because like that's kind of what I think of when you kind of shut off Grease Pencil there momentarily, and like you see like those like 2D drawings when people are like explaining like how it's made. Would that be done in a software like this?
Yeah, I'd have to see what example you're talking about, but I assume you could, right? You probably could use like a tablet and draw. There's a lot of really cool stuff I was seeing people do where they mix 2D and 3D elements, because there's some stuff that the 2D medium can just do better. Like it's very expressive. And like, you know, especially when it comes to anime, a lot of people will criticize them when they go into the 3D realm poorly, and it happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
You know, this is where it's a really strong, and it's also good for like storyboarding and stuff too. Right? So you could do like really quick sketches within Blender as well. Simulation, dude. I wanted to bring this up. The cloth, all the cloth in my little intro video was simulated, with the physics engine. So, I'm pulling it up here because why not? But that blanket there, that's like on the couch and the chair and the beanie thing, that was all like done in like the
so because it's not moving. When you say simulated, are you talking about like how it's laying?
Yes.
Okay.
So it starts out as like a 2D plane, and above it, and I basically
drop it.
Yeah, I drop it on the chair, like,
that's
and it automatically really cool. Does that, and then I freeze it, right? So it doesn't just like fall off the chair or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, so I simulated all those cloth blankets and shit, and it really made like this really kind of cozy, dynamic scene, right? It was just one of those fun things that I was able to do with the cloth. They have like all kinds of simulation from fluid sim and like everything. So it's very powerful. Particle systems. You can do fire, fluid, smoke and fire. Yeah. Super, super cool stuff. So if you're interested in 3D modeling and design, you have no reason not to go get Blender today. Awesome. Like here you can see you can donate to it, obviously. And I've thought about it over the years. You can see this is their monthly contributions. Yeah. They got individuals, they got big corporations, and they have different tiers. Like you can be like a diamond tier, $300 a month you donate, and you get like.
Do you get anything?
You just get like your name. Oh, that's cool. And you get like a link to your company URL. You can do the corporate sponsorship where they talk about you on the bottom, like these big players here. Corporate gold, they talk about.
This
Adobe.
Website right away looks like it was made in WordPress with like WP Bakery.
Yeah, it probably was.
Like I see this website, I'm like, this is probably WP Bakery.
Yeah, they probably don't have.
This is definitely WP Bakery, dude. This
it does look Bakery. Like it, dude. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, dude. I use WP WordPress, Bakery is awesome. Whatever.
Yeah, right.
It's good. But yeah, 100%. So there's no reason.
I love WP Bakery, dude.
So if you ever want to get into Blender, dude, let me know because I've been doing it for forever, like 20 years. So yeah, it's insane. But yeah, you got me on a tangent, dude. What can I say? Blender is like an amazing piece of software.
Hey man, this was our podcast that we kind of could just talk about what we're passionate about. So
yeah, dude. I wish I could talk more because like there's this whole studio I set up, dude. It's unreal. But I'll save it. If you're interested in seeing what I did, check us out Saturday, 2 p.m. on 5th Dread. That's going to be 5th Dread Twitch channel. Okay, is where I'm going to stream it. And
is that TTV/5th Dread?
5th Dread, yeah. FIFTH DREAD, dude. Like Metroid Dread, but like 5. You know what I'm saying?
There is the link.
You're linking it. Yeah. I'll put it in the description of the YouTube as well.
Back when he was first Dread, starting out Blender, he is now 5th Dread, a Blender veteran.
That is correct. So I've evolved.
So real quick before we end the podcast.
Yeah.
Do I buy Far Cry 6 or Metroid Dread?
You know what? I know personally I'm more interested in Metroid Dread.
I am too, but I'm not interested in what I know the frame rate's going to be, and I also don't have an OLED Switch.
There's people, but you have an OLED TV, so I mean, the frame rate, that's another thing. I don't know if that matters so much. There's some people that still are playing it on the PC, emulated.
Oh yeah,
and probably at 4K. Yeah,
I may check that out.
I want to look into that myself, but I do want to get the game. I ain't gonna lie, dude. That OLED Switch kind of looks nice, but it's out of stock, so I can't compulsively buy it.
And I was just gonna say, it's not one of those things that like I play my Switch handheld enough that it's like I have to wait in line for this boy. Like I could wait.
I used to when I was moving. I played my Switch like every day, but handheld. But now I'm at my house. I play docked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On my OLED, but yeah.
So you're a docker?
I'm a docker, 100%.
I did.
I got my own fucking TV, dude. Like I can. My son, he's got his own. My son has a projector in his room. My old projector, dude.
What a
spoiled
goat,
kid, dude.
What a goat, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, let's end this podcast, dude.
Yeah, dude. We killed it today.
We killed it, dude. We talked actually way longer for the small amount of topics we've had.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, thanks for listening to the Technosthetic podcast. Check us out, technosthetic.com. That's where you can find us. And every place you can find us. I got links on there. Also, our emails are on there, dude. Shoot us an email. Say hi.
Talk to us.
Check us out on YouTube, dude. And leave us some comments. We are lonely. We want to hear from you. So, yeah. Anyway, See you guys next week on the podcast.